there, theater goers. I'm Ghostbuster Joe, and welcome to episode 1 of the Popcorny Podcast. I am your host, Ghostbuster Joe, and now introducing from the middle line of the middle row, it's the Metal Geek, and don't steal our popcorn, it's ever so spiffy.
What's going on, theater crew? How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the debut episode of the Popcorny Podcast with your host, Ghostbuster Joe, ever so spiffy. What's going on, guys?
What's going on, guys?
Ha, welcome. So, our first topic is Ghostbusters Afterlife. So, guys, what would you give a rating of the cinematography in that movie? Like by rating, I mean like by the alphabet. So, Metal Geek, lead this off.
I'd say I give it a B for now. You know, it was pretty
Okay.
good.
So
Yeah.
why a B?
I mean,
I would say B
why
myself as well. Yeah.
B? So why? Well, first off, Geek, why would you give it a B?
why would I give it a B? I mean, I thought the cinematography was awesome. It was outstanding. So I loved the cinematography. I thought everything that they did in the movie was great. The scene shots were absolutely amazing. But you know what? It doesn't have. It has a little bit of nostalgia to it, but it doesn't have that typical nostalgia. You know what I mean?
Okay. No, I'm just wondering. Now, Spiffy, your turn. You're next.
Same thing. Rated a B. I felt the nostalgia, but it's trying to be like retro, but not really. But, you know, kicking back some memories as a kid, like growing up watching the Ghostbusters and all that nostalgic TV show that we grew up, I kind of felt it stuck with me. So B.
Okay.
It was
For
still there.
myself, I'm sorry about that, Spiffy. Myself, I give it an A plus because I write and I draw, and I seen what Jason was doing with when the Ecto drives and is driving and it's on the bridge and it goes sideways and you see the smoke. And then when it shoots, the proton wand shot the buildings and you saw all the explosions and stuff like that. I was like, wow, look at the way he angled the wind and stuff like that. And so the next thing that we're going to give it a rating of, what did you think of the next is the music? What would you give the rating of letters of the music?
I'm gonna give it an A on that one.
Okay.
I want to give it an A. You want me to say?
Yeah, specify one.
What? I mean, I love the fact, Joe. I know you were a little upset when we spoke about it earlier about the music. You said that why can't they add new music? Here's the thing. It was new music, Joe. I'm going to tell you why. Because they redid everything with a new orchestra, everything. It was the same notes, but they redid everything. But the music the nostalgia music you can't get rid of. So I'm going to give the music an A as well.
Okay, Spiffy.
I feel an A as well. The nostalgic of it all. Again, things are coming back from the 80s and the 90s, and that retro feel I love. And growing up hearing that music as a child, I can appreciate it more now that I'm an adult. So, yeah, I would have to give it an A. The music all around, bar none, the best.
I give the music. Well, with being a diehard fan like myself, I'm so used to hearing the music, and some people aren't. I give it like an A, just an A, like A. Yeah, I give it an A. I give it an A. Okay, here we go. What would you give it the storyline?
What's going on, guys?
Oh, here we go. We have our guest.
What's up,
Welcome.
guys?
Welcome.
There we go.
Welcome.
What's going on, guys? We're giving our reviews right
Welcome
now.
our guests on panel, Austin and Nikki Lane.
Nikki been here just a few minutes.
Welcome.
Austin. Welcome to Popcorny Podcast.
The debut episode.
Thank you, guys.
So sorry about the time difference. We were trying to settle it. It's kind of time difference are always bad.
yeah, she started telling me the time, and then when she said, "But they're Eastern," I'm like, "Yeah, that's different."
Yeah.
So different. Oh my goodness.
We kind of feel funny because you guys are wrestlers and we do a wrestling podcast. Also, like, why have we not invited them on Dudes at Ringside yet? Oh wait,
Yeah.
And this is
Be happy to
you
do
know
it.
you guys. Hi, Nikki.
Hi.
Welcome to
How are
Popcorny.
y'all?
Welcome.
So we just did half of our our number alpha of review of what we would give the first and foremost. Geek, tell them what we first went over right so
We
far.
wanted to sip over the cinematography, and then we went over the music. So if you guys
What would
want
you
to
guys
talk
give
about,
a rating of the cinematography individually, each of you guys?
Oh, okay. Yeah, the cinematography, me. I mean, I don't know. It was the shots that were done. It was amazing. Jason Reitman really brought back to me. He really brought the feel of the original Ghostbuster, and the music. I mean, that music sounded so much like the original. I mean, the score was unbelievable. I've listened to the actual score. I got it on iTunes. I listened to that score so many times now, and you can feel, you know, exactly where in the movie it happens too when you're listening to it.
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
that
Right.
nostalgia music? You know what I mean?
That
Yeah.
music gives me
Retro.
chills because I remember when I first moved to Pennsylvania, I had my iPod on showing my age, and I was listening to the scene when when the ladies down in the basement of the museum,
Library.
library. I was listening to
Yeah.
as I'm walking around the property of my house, and I get to that part when it goes dun, and I looked up and then I see a bear.
Oh
It
my
was like
goodness.
the music was perfect. It's like it was
Yeah.
like I'm in the movie. I was like,
Yeah.
dun.
It felt you were
Yeah.
like
I listened to the
long for
score.
that ride.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
listened to the score nonstop. I mean, it's almost like rewatching the movie over and over.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah. So, what would you guys give a rating of it? A, B, C? What would be the cinematography?
Oh, the cinematography for me is an A, definitely. An A for the cinematography and the score. Honestly, I mean, with me, my history with Ghostbusters, I actually went to watch. Showing my age, I went to watch the original Ghostbusters in theaters. It was the first movie I ever seen in theaters.
Oh wow!
Uh,
Wow.
yeah, so like
Wow.
we lived in a small town, and we had two theaters. They showed two movies, two screens. And the same day, it was Ghostbusters and Gremlins came out on the same exact day. So yeah, I
Right.
made the choice. Went and watched Ghostbusters. I believe we went the next day and watched Gremlins, and then I think I made my parents take me back to Ghostbusters the next weekend.
Yeah, he lives, breathes, and sleeps it.
Yeah.
That's
You
awesome.
You next, Nikki. You next.
Yeah, what
Um,
was the question?
That
Oh,
you
what do you
what would you
grade
give the
Yeah.
what would you give the cinematography a
and
rating?
the score?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
I probably give about 7. Like he's more into the Ghostbuster. I mean, I love it, everything about it. I got chills every time, but he knows all the good stuff of it.
Yeah, I'm the
and
huge Ghostbusters
background.
he,
fan.
Look
like
at
I
that
said,
background.
you can't
Yeah.
tell.
That's insane.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
entire room is. I mean, almost the entire room is Ghostbusters. I mean, I've got autographed pictures of everyone to us. I mean, met most of them, and
Got my
yeah,
handmade goggles.
I
oh
love
yeah.
that.
Those are my.
I want the goggles. I hope they release it. The goggles with the Polaroids.
I heard that's
Yeah,
coming
that's what we
next.
want.
I heard
Yeah,
that's
that's
coming next.
Oh
Did you
my
guys get
god, I
any
would
from the
love
East
to
Coast?
see that.
I have my little
Yes.
Yeah.
franchise.
Oh,
awesome.
that would be
Yeah,
so cool.
If I had more
yeah,
stickers, I'd send you Ghostbuster stick. I don't have any more of them, but that's my franchise.
yeah. I've got we'll do a lot of the anytime that the original will air like in movie theaters, or I'll walk in parades or do stuff like Children's Hospital, and we have like a whole bunch of ours is just the regular logo though, the No Ghost logo, and we'll give out
Yeah.
patches to kids, and
And we
yeah,
got awards that we give out.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
yeah, we'll give out certificate of
And
anti paranormal.
we'll let the kids sign their names to it.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
There
That
you
is
go.
Yeah.
cool.
Did you guys get our dudes at ringside sticker yet? Because I sent you guys stickers.
It's in the mail today. I haven't had a chance to check it.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I thought
Yeah, I
I
can see
thought
on
maybe
my
we were gonna
app that
get
it
your
came
thing.
in.
I was like, oh. All right, next topic on our docket. What did you think of what would you give a rating of the story? The story there.
Oh, the story. Okay, the story. If it was a standalone story, it wouldn't have. This movie was a sequel. It was made for the fans. I
Yeah.
think that it was a perfect story for I guess the conclusion of the three Ghostbusters. If you look at it, I mean, all three movies like really told a story. The first movie was Ray's story. I mean, it really was. It was the story of Ray Stantz. The second movie, I think, was more Peter Venkman. It was him growing up and learning to become a father. And I think this movie was Egon's. I mean, this was Egon's story. And of course, I don't know if you have done spoiler warning or anything, but the after credit scene, the next will be it, to me, I think will be Ernie Hudson's story. It will be Winston Zedmore's story.
Oh yeah,
Oh, for sure.
dude, I got
For
chills when I
sure.
saw that. I was like, oh, what's left of my hair just stood up.
Yeah.
What's left of my hair just went. I look like
Bling.
I look like Bill Murray in that bowling movie. My hair was just like,
Yeah, with Kingpin. Oh yeah.
Kingpin. My hair went. Wing. Yeah, I gave Geek. What did you think of the storyline? Give it a rating.
I'm gonna give it an A. The story an A because the whole story and everything that like Austin said, it was made for the fans exactly. Every piece by piece, like this nostalgia, everything. The "Are you a god" thing was probably one of my favorite lines from the original Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Joe knows.
Oh
right?
God, me and Geek, how me and Geek met we met in college doing college radio. That was our introduction on the show.
There was
Yeah.
Are you a god? And Geek goes,
no.
The best
I've
line
actually
ever.
I've used that in a wrestling promo before.
oh jeez.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then yeah. So when I said, "Are you a god?" and then like our friend, he would say over the mic, "This is the best part." Then die.
If we can find that recording, I'm gonna have the sound send the sound to Nikki so you can hear it. It's so funny how he just got Geek saying no and put a loud echo to it.
Like a big long O to
No.
it.
It's a young Metal Geek voice. It's so funny.
I can
So-
only imagine that back then.
So,
Wow.
So
Yeah.
Spiffy, what would you give this the storyline a rating? What would you give it a rating of?
Definitely an A. Like Geek said, they brought back some amazing and nostalgic scenes from the movie. So that totally got me when they brought back the whole "there's no mom, only Zool" kind of
Yeah.
thing. I just was like,
There's
oh my
no
god.
mom,
That
only
was the
Zool.
Dana thing. Yeah. That was the whole Dana, no Zool, like only Zool. And that just stuck with me. I thought that was funny. Like that was epic.
I'll go last. You guys go next. The guests. You guys go next.
You're next.
We're next.
Oh, story.
Yeah, you're next.
Story's an A without a doubt. I mean, it hit all the nostalgia. I mean, we went a couple times to watch it. And I'm probably not going to watch it again, but
Yeah.
the story. I mean, it was just the story itself. Of Egon Spengler and his family. Coming to terms of who he is and who he was. And I mean, I just tell you right now that Nikki. I told Nikki that everyone says make sure to bring tissues, and she kind of laughed it off. But then during that final scene, Nikki was
Yeah, it got
bawling
me.
her eyes out. Of course, I cried several times during it.
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah.
I cried over the little things. It was, I mean, from the very beginning, having Dana's chair in his house to, the book stacking like the Philadelphia mass turbulence. I mean, it was everything just kept hitting for me. But the story between the family and man, McKenna Grace is just an unbelievable actor. I mean, spot on. When she was on the screen, I had chills just because I was like, that is Egon Spengler right there.
yeah. Everything
Yeah.
the stupid
Oh
jokes,
yeah.
over the little jokes that she was saying, the bad
Yes.
jokes. That's Egon. So
Yeah.
Yes.
I personally, I give it an A++ because they hit everything from the nostalgia with the characters to the heartstrings of the fans because they know we have not seen anything really throwbackish Ghostbusters since 1989.
Yeah.
And I give it an A++.
Yeah.
He hit every point for us. He didn't miss one thing. He didn't miss one thing, Jason. And he also had his dad in his ear, and he didn't reject his dad's ideas. like somebody else
Yeah.
did in 2016. But we're not going to go into that right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna get mad at
That's
us.
a
We don't want
no.
to get canceled.
Yeah.
No, we don't want to get canceled. No.
We don't get
Cut.
canceled. Canceled. So here we go. Next,
but no offense, Joe. I think that some female Ghostbuster fans don't like the 2016 version either.
I have some female friends that get a little irked about it, but they have their own. I believe everybody's a Ghostbuster. We are
Yeah.
all Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what
And,
size.
and yeah,
everybody.
to me, I mean, the 2016 version, answer the call. If you didn't call it Ghostbusters, that was a decent movie. I mean, it was an all right movie. The fact that it was trying to have its cake and eat it, it says this is different, but remember all of this that happened before. I mean, it was one of those where it kind of confuses the crowd because it's like, this is different. That other stuff didn't happen. Oh, but remember when this happened? You know, in 1984, 1989, you remember this? I mean, it was just, to me, it was confusing. If you take it on face value alone and just say, okay, this is its own thing. This is not a part of our Ghostbusters timeline. The movie is not horrible. I mean, the movie's decent. It's a lot more of what I like about Ghostbusters is it's not a slap you in the face. Hey, this is a comedy. Laugh at my jokes. It's a smart comedy. I mean, honestly, as a kid, I didn't even realize that, I just loved the movie. It was a great movie. I didn't realize how much of a comedy it was until I got older, until I realized, oh man, the delivery, the way it's done, it's a smart comedy. And the 2016 is like, hey, it tries to slap you in the face saying, this is a comedy, laugh at my jokes, instead of earning the jokes. And it tried to walk two different lines. It tried to say, this is not a sequel. This is something completely different. But at the same time, oh yeah, remember the other stuff? It confused a lot of people.
Yeah. I went with my parents to see the one in 2016, and my parents are doing hey, look, isn't that a whole movie? I'm like, yes, mom, that's a reference to Egon. Yes, that's supposed to be Ray, but it's a cab driver. Oh yes, that's Bill Murray. Yes, mom, that's not Peter Venkman. That's just a guy. He's playing a different character this time. Yes, that's Stay Puft, mom. This time I saw it with my dad, and my dad usually falls asleep. My dad admitted that he thought this movie was good. He's like, this movie was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, well, I'm trying to think what's next, Geek. What's next on the docket?
I was just about to say, don't be surprised if there's a crossover in the next one.
You think so?
You never know. I mean, if there's different universes, you never know. They could cross to another universe.
What's next on the rating docket, Geeky?
I really want to go into ratings. I actually want to talk more about the movie a little bit.
Yeah, let's talk about the movie.
Yeah. So I was just about to say that. So what would you guys think? I mean, think of the movie. I mean, for example, what was I gonna say? Crap. Go ahead, Joe. Leave it off.
So what did you guys think about? I know Austin, you liked Phoebe. What did you think about the other characters that were in the movie than Phoebe?
I think that that podcast is going to be a star.
Oh
he
God,
is so funny. Like,
yeah,
he is so funny. Of course, I mean, it's Finn Wolfhard is he kind of hits that, with the Stranger Things and he hits that 80s vibe. And Finn Wolfhard plays Finn Wolfhard. I mean, I think that he's a very good character in it. But honestly, to me, Podcast and Phoebe are the stars of this film. Them and Egon Spangler. I mean, it was Carrie Coon. They all did a great job. No one did a bad job in the entire movie. And there was stuff that leaked out, ahead of time that people were saying, oh, the whole town is Gozer worshippers and all this other stuff. I'm so glad they didn't go that route because
me too.
I'm so glad they didn't. I mean, it would have complicated stuff. It wouldn't have made sense and everything. But honestly, each performer, everybody that was in it did a pretty decent job. It's just one of those where everyone did really good, actually. But the fact that McKenna Grace and Logan Kim just exploded off of the screen. I mean,
Definitely.
they just did an amazing job. And I'll tell you right now, Olivia Wilde as Gozer,
Oh
just
God.
spot on. I loved it. I mean, I
Just the way
absolutely
she
loved it.
acted, the way
Yeah.
that she didn't even like, Gozer had the way she moved. She gave her
Yes.
a saunter. She was like
Yes.
the crouch
She
thing
took
she did. I was like, oh my God.
she took like Gozer before. I mean, Gozer spent what, a minute, 2 minutes on screen in the original. This
Yeah,
one, they made Gozer into a scary figure. Gozer was a villain. She actually, that was the first time watching it. I'm like, yeah, Gozer is a demon. I mean, Gozer's actually pretty scary. And she
yeah,
did a great job. She take the little nuances that the original took, and she just kind of made it a little more horror involved in it. I mean,
yeah,
did a great,
Yeah,
great job on it.
totally.
for
And
sure.
I don't know if I said this to Geek before, and it surprised the hell out of him. Did you know who played Evo Shandor in the movie?
Yes, it surprised me. I didn't know originally that he was in the movie, but then once like on screen, I reached over and grabbed Nikki. Nikki had no idea what I was doing. I'm like, oh my god, it's J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, he freaked out. I said, dude, and it's kind of funny. I kind of felt bad what they did to Evo Shandor. I
Yeah,
was like, I thought maybe you know what I would have did for Evo Shandor in this movie? I would have had him in the tomb, and as when the ghost went back into the thing when they released it, have the ghost wake him up, and he comes back into the town and changes himself into somebody else.
yeah.
So he's back in the town, and nobody knows it's him, and he tries to possess somebody else or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like,
think that was one of those smart comedy deals. It was played for laughs. You know, this guy that he had this mind. He used all this selenium to build this you know I guess gateway in New York City, and he has it also there in Somerville. And spent his whole life about trying to bring back the coming of Gozer, and Gozer's like, "Oh no, I'm a god!" Like just rip.
that made me I was like, oh, there goes Shandor.
Totally nailed it. Just like, I'm a
Yeah.
god.
Whipped him
Yeah.
in half like a piece of paper.
Yeah,
Don't rip our sticker, no. There you go.
That's not the sticker. Like, if this is the sticker, I mean this. Whipped him in half
Gosh.
like a piece of paper.
What,
I was like,
Oh, jeepers.
what I loved about the movie, a lot of people are not talking about, is how dark some of it was. Actually, some of it, like like the mini marshmallow man, they roasted each other.
yeah.
They started roasting each other during the movie. I'm like,
Yeah.
and you're trying to show this to little kids that this is okay?
because when they were introducing this movie, Austin, Metal Geek and Spiffy, they were saying it's going to be a horror
Yeah.
movie, and I watch a lot of Ghostbusters news on YouTube, and they said that, and I'm just like, okay, I could see how they're trying to introduce the scary. Because am I right, guys? When you were a kid and you saw Ghostbusters, that movie, some things in that movie weren't like good for children to look at, like the terror
Oh,
dogs.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah. That
The
wasn't
librarian
for
ghost.
The
Yeah,
librarian,
children's
yeah.
eyes at
Get
all.
her, Joe. Get her. All right.
get her, yeah, get her. And
Yeah.
if you know, they used that
Ah.
line in the movie. They used the get her.
I didn't
Like,
catch it.
yeah, when they're in the car,
Yeah.
and they're going after the new ghosts, which we'll cover that in
Muncher.
a
Muncher.
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll cover
okay.
that
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
What did you think about the new ghost, and were you upset that you didn't see Slimer? What did you think about Muncher, guys? Geek, you first.
I think it's always important to introduce new characters. You know, it's good to have old ones, but to have new characters, because it's a new. You got to remember also, Joe, it is a new generation. So you want to introduce new characters to say, hey, this is pretty cool. And then in 10, 20, 30 years, they're going to have another character based on that generation. So Slimer was our Muncher, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Spiffy? Vivi, your turn.
I have to go with geek on that. I mean, it is such a good idea to include new characters, but also you want to stick to that nostalgic field so you're not cheating out the people who grew up on it as well, because it's a little touchy feely there. But I do say, why not add in new characters, but try to stick to that 80s, 90s realmish era? So it could be played out
I did. I
between people that grew up in that time and then introduce new characters at the same time. So it's like,
Yeah,
eh, it's a
Austin,
wayside.
what are your
I did.
takes on the new Ghost, and what did you miss Slimer?
I didn't miss Slimer at all, which is a credit to what they did. And to me, you got to realize, Muncher. I got a little Muncher right here. Muncher's
Oh, wow.
not. Yeah, Muncher's not a replacement for
Oh
Slimer.
my
Slimer's in New
gosh.
York City. Jason Reitman even said that when he was asked about where Slimer was. He's like, "Listen, guys, Slimer's in New York City. I mean, what? This is a sequel. I mean, it's not a reboot. Slimer is still around. He's in New York
Right.
City. He's in the containment unit in New York City. Same as a certain person that belongs in a painting. Also, actually, what he says. But
Yeah.
to me, I mean, I loved that. I mean,
Yeah.
Muncher, and I remember Muncher from back in the 80s, and then in the 90s, and then Bug Eye Ghost, seeing him there, I mean, he was awesome. Bug Eye Ghost, I popped so huge when I seen him on screen. And then the minor zombie, I guess, it reminded me so much of the cab driver. When the lady's pouring the cup of coffee, I mean, he reminded me so much of the cab driver. They did a really good job of showing that there's other ghosts in this universe. And of course, like with the mini puffs and Muncher, there's a lot of merchandising that's going to be sold and flying off shelves. But
Oh yeah.
Muncher, I loved Muncher. I loved the Bug Eye Ghost. They and I love the fact that Jason Reitman addressed it. He said, "No, listen, guys, Slimer is around. He wasn't in this movie because this movie's in Oklahoma. I mean, it's just honestly. I mean, Egon didn't pack up Slimer and bring him with him. Slimer is in New York. He's in the containment unit. We've seen the red light at the very end. So I think Slimer and Vigo and a few other ones that we might not have been able to see and kind of missed during this one. I think they come into full effect here coming soon.
Yeah. Well, my thing
Right.
is, I loved the way that they brought in a new Ghost, and I kind of understood where Jason was coming, saying I write and I draw. When you go to different parts of the country, there's different ghost stories for different places. You
Yeah,
won't bump into a Slimer. Like if you go to Oklahoma, it's probably like different ghosts from a miner that got killed. His spirit's still around. There could be a little boy that died in his parents' basement. You know what I mean? Different ghosts from
yeah.
different cities. That's what I feel. Also, I did miss Slimer because I went in with my little buddy here, thinking he was gonna see his uncle and no Slimer, but I knew something
Well,
was
I mean,
coming.
they
I
they
heard that.
did they did sell the topper with Slimer at the afterlife. So I got both of them, but yeah, they did sell him. So they're still selling the Slimers. I think I
Oh,
think he's coming soon.
Yeah, I have a feeling. So okay, what's the next topic? Because I thought of the one after the one you say.
You go ahead, Joe. Continue. It's your
Okay,
topic.
since you guys only can go with 30, or if you want to go longer with us, if you can't go but 30, that's fine.
Yeah.
The next topic before we do the big stars, how would you introduce Vigo to all these to the kids? Would you just have them go on YouTube and look it up? Would you have Ray introduce Vigo the Carpathian? I'll have our guests go first. Austin?
Oh wait, I'll go first. Honestly, uh, I would have Winston do it. I mean, Ray, I think will be a part of it. He's back. He's got the cult books there in New York. But Winston, I think Winston is Nick Fury. I think Winston brings together the Ghostbusters going forward. And hopefully, especially Phoebe and podcast. Hopefully, they're continue on in it. Lucky and Trevor. You know, if they don't all go to New York, at least Trevor and Phoebe and Lucky, and they can start adding in other characters also as far as to be Ghostbusters. I think Winston leading the way. I think Winston. I think that I have a feeling that with that red light, I think that there's something going on with the containment unit, and I think that in future movies, I think possibly that whether it's Vigo or whomever it is, I think things will start leaking out, and maybe that's what sparks the spiritual realm in New York. Gets everything up and going again. But yeah,
Mm.
Vigo, I think Winston, honestly, instead of Ray, I think Winston introducing him because, like I said, going forward, I think the next movie will be Winston's movie. I mean, for
Mm.
so many years, everyone was, upset, including me, that Winston wasn't on a lot of the promotional materials for like the originals. And it was always, Winston was supposed to be one of the originals at the very beginning of the movie, and it wound up being, him just halfway into the movie. I think Winston going forward, I think the Ghostbusters is Winston Zedmore.
Okay. Geek.
I think there are a lot, like Austin said earlier. I think there's a lot of ghosts inside that containment unit. Slimer could be one of them. Vigo the Carpathian could be in the containment unit. Um, but we'll have to wait and see what happens in the future. You know what I mean?
So, Spiffy, how do you think that they'll introduce how do you think they'll introduce Vigo to the kids? Do you think what are your thoughts about that?
I feel the same way as
Oh, technical difficulty with
and
the system.
Geek. I do feel that they should be introduced by, yeah, not on YouTube, but by, yeah. I feel the same way as Austin and Geek,
Yeah.
definitely.
So
Because
I
And
I
all
I
those
don't, yeah,
ones locked in the container, yeah,
yeah, and I don't necessarily think
you
that
don't know
Vigo
how
has
it's
to
going to play
come
out.
back as a villain. Honestly,
yeah.
I mean,
Mm.
you got so many other stories you can tell. Vigo can be literally just the painting. I mean, it could be just a history lesson, exposition kind of thing. He doesn't necessarily. I wouldn't say that you have to go back to Vigo. Let Vigo be the next big villain just because we had Gozer for this one. Gozer was the perfect villain for this trilogy. You don't have to have Vigo as the big bad on the next movie. I mean, it literally can be so. I mean, there's so many other avenues you can go down. I mean, I think Vigo can be. It can be kind of an exposition thing. Hey, you make jokes about you guys really like rode the Statue of Liberty down New York. Toward a museum kind of thing. I mean, it could be just an exposition thing, but I'd like to see them at least address Vigo, but he doesn't necessarily have to be the big bad.
I was also thinking of something else. I thought about this a few days ago, and I think I said it to Geek, and I think Spiffy heard me. What if they took a take from the Spider-Man Spider-Verse thing,
Mhm.
and a scientist is testing something, and he blasts a wall, and he opens like a Ghostbusters like time thing that all these other Ghostbusters come through a time portal, and we finally get a chance to meet. Quote me on this. Vigo comes through, and the way he gets more power is the containment unit turns off and Zool comes out. And then through the other time portals, all the other bad guys from the different time zones, like Vigo, another version of Vigo from an alternate universe that he's riding a horse. We will have from the real Ghostbusters, either Sandman. Which one would you rather see from Real Ghostbusters, Sandman or Sam Han?
I want to see both of them. I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, I don't know if you read the IDW comics, but they had a similar storyline with that where the real Ghostbusters, the originals, and the girls all, even the extreme Ghostbusters, kind of all came together like to fix a big issue kind of deal. I would love to see an actual live action Sandman or Sam Hunt. I mean, oh, that would be amazing.
I said that to Geek, and he went, "What? Joe, you need to write this. I'm like, I know, I'm just too lazy. Too lazy. I've written 3. I gotta find a way to send you guys I wrote 3 Ghostbusters fan fictions way before Afterlife was even thought
Yeah,
of my own story, of my own franchise,
Yeah.
Ghostbusters of Pike County.
yeah.
So yeah, that's my take on what could happen. So right now we're gonna go to the star ratings. So Austin, what would you give this movie a rating of with the stars wise?
Well, what's the is it 1 to 5 kind of thing?
Yeah, like, or you can go to 6 too, because 6 is always fun.
Okay, yeah. Do the Meltzer scale, yeah, for
Yeah,
wrestling.
The
Yeah,
yeah.
Meltzer.
this one without a doubt, this one breaks the scale. This was Ghostbusters Afterlife to me was Okada Omega. It was 6 stars, 6.5,
Wow.
6 and a quarter, whatever it has to be. It breaks the scale. I mean, honestly, it really does. To me, like I love Ghostbusters 2 also, but Ghostbusters 1 was always my favorite movie of all time. And Afterlife is just right there with it. I mean, it is so close. It breaks the scale to me. It's 6 stars, 6.5, whatever. Ghostbusters Afterlife is Omega Okada.
Okay, geek.
I'm gonna have to say, Ghostbusters. This was probably the best Ghostbusters movie, but I'm not gonna go and say it's the movie of the year yet because we still got a couple of big blockbusters up ahead. We got Spider-Man, we got Matrix, we got the new Kingsman, West Side Story. So there are a lot of movies around the corner. But I'm gonna say this was probably the greatest Ghostbusters movie. I'm gonna give it probably. So what are we rating it? Like
Like
an
like 1 to 5
1 to
stars.
5. I'm gonna give it an 8.
It's the wow, cool.
8. I broke the scale too, so there
Bump
you
the
go.
scale up, my friend. Biffy.
I'm gonna give it a 10. I mean, I have to go higher.
Nice. Okay.
Like I have to give it that 10-10 feel. I mean, it just everything about that movie stuck with me. So, especially the sad part, I mean, it just stuck with me. Yeah.
I'm with you, Spiffy, being a diehard fan with the tattoo of Slimer on my thigh and I run around with my proton pack and over my flight suit in my town. And when I give it 10 stars, when Egon got a chance to say goodbye to his daughter, I never got a chance to say bye. Like I got a chance to see my grandmother. I never got a chance to never see or meet my grandfather, which I did wrestling. What did wrestling? That's like me saying my grandfather hugging me and saying thank you for doing your podcast and talking about me every dudes at ringside show. I gave it 10 stars. I would give it 10 Joe Panthers, 10 slimy stars
That's
from Joe
definitely
Panthers.
that's awesome, Joe.
10.
Yeah.
Yes, 10 stars. So thank you so much, Austin. Thanks again. Tell Nikki we said thank you so much for coming in and being on panel for the first ever Popcorny podcast. And you guys don't realize it. You made history
That's
on
right.
the movie side. You,
Yeah.
you debuted our podcast. We want you guys to come on Dudes at Ringside. We have to pick a time that we guys can meet like on the same. We know you guys do radio. Would you
Yeah.
be willing to tell our fans what you do? So if you want, you could talk about
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I am a professional wrestler for Championship Wrestling from Memphis on the CW and on Tubetown and all the different TV stations. I'm also a producer director there, so I do a lot of the producing directing for the entire television show, and we also do the we're on the radio, so we do a morning show. On a radio station here in this area, and then as well as that, I also coach high school football and statistician, and I'm on the radio for that. So yeah, I mean we do a ton of stuff, and of course Nikki was the first ever Memphis Wrestling Women's Champion. Memphis Wrestling never had a women's championship ever, and she was the first one ever. So that was really really cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
We were supposed to have her come on Dudes at Ringside, and then something happened with the schedule, and I guess she was
Yeah.
busy. And I'm like, we got to I'm like, we have to try to. We would have to try to get this done next year because
Yes.
we did busy podcasts right now. We have like
Two
pretty much our
podcasts.
podcast is seen all over the
Two.
world. So all right,
Yeah.
let's end this on a high, and let's everybody say your first geek say your goodbyes.
All right. I just want to thank everyone in the chat. Well, whatever chat was there. But make sure you guys like us, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitch, Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on everything. Follow us on Spotify. Just follow us. That's all. So, Joe.
Okay. Thank you, Austin and Nikki, for coming in our first episode. We thank you so much. We'll definitely get in contact with you for Dudes at Ringside for next year.
You mean cut
just-
a promo for you?
You could.
Oh, if you
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah.
If you want to do it,
yeah.
you could do it after the fact. Like, or just record it when you're not busy, and you
Yeah.
and Nikki could do a promo. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like, it could
I can do one. I can do one here right now too.
Okay,
Yeah.
like, ready?
Oh,
Yeah.
You
perfect.
just said for Dudes
Yeah,
at
make sure you go and subscribe to the Popcorny Podcast because it is, and believe me, I know, rope to rope and pillar to post, the very best of the best, and you know it.
There you go. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Austin.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so much, Nate.
much.
You
Thank
guys
you.
are
Hey,
awesome.
Hey, I'd love to come on. Let me know. I'll come on the wrestling one. I'll come on the movie ones. Also, I'm a huge movie nut. So, I mean, I've got all kinds of. We got all kinds of the the same sort of interest. So yeah, just holler at me. I'd love to come on the
So-
wrestling or the movie ones.
So,
Oh,
ne-
cool. We have
so-
tons of ones coming up, so
yeah,
we'll let
so
you know when
the next one we're probably going to do is probably going to do Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. I can't
Oh,
wait
yeah.
for that. I've seen the trailer
Wait,
for
before we
Across
go-
the Universe of the Spider-Verse.
Oh, you
also.
saw that promo? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you see that trailer?
Yes.
The new one?
Man,
The new
I'm telling you,
Spider-Man.
I'm a huge. I mean, it's not just you see Ghostbusters, but yeah, there's horror movies. I mean, everything. I'm just a huge movie and TV nut.
Wow.
Yes.
I love it.
I mean, I even have a leather Goonies map signed. Oh, I love it.
Walking
I got
Oh,
a
Dead,
leather
wow.
Goonies map signed by Sean Astin as my
Oh,
key.
that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is I got so much. I mean, it's probably very a lot of people would be embarrassed. I collect everything. I even collected VHSs. I got the Filmation Ghostbusters VHSs.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Wow. That is old school. Love it.
Everybody
Yes.
sings that theme song biting their tongue. Like
So what do you think of the new Matrix trailer that just came out? Austin, did you see it?
Yes, of course I've seen it. I mean, if it's movies, I'm telling you, I watched the trailers, the breakdowns, everything. I'm so excited. I mean, it has a lot of feels of the original. I mean, the original trilogy was great. I loved it. The original
Yeah.
movie was my favorite, and I think that this one, I'll have to talk to you guys whenever y'all break down and discuss it because I have some theories about this one.
me and Geek,
Yeah.
we're doing the same thing. So all right, let's end this on a high. So
I-
let's all say goodbye. Well, we'll see you soon, and we'll be in the Spider-Verse. So we will see you guys later.